Welcome to WebRTC Meetup here. So I wish we had 8 hours to go through all the content and all the stuff we wanted to show you. Unfortunately, we only really have about 2 left. I have 6 speakers. We're going to go kind of quick. I apologize. I hope we have time for questions and answers, and ideally we'll end about 15 minutes before 9 o'clock and have some time for more informal discussion afterwards and more networking if you like. So what are we going to cover here today? Start out is what is WebRTC for people who aren't familiar. 2 is really who's using WebRTC and how are they using it. And we really want to help give you ideas for how not only how other people are using it, but how you might be able to take advantage and use this technology too. And we'll also give some tidbits and pointers to at least help you get started. We won't have a lot of time for a lot of hands-on code walkthrough things here, but at least we'll hope we point you in the right direction. And we'll finish off and talk a little bit about where WebRTC is going in the future too. So, as I said, we have a diverse perspective of speakers here. I'll introduce each speaker before they come up here. But to give you some background, we have speakers from kind of the contact center industry, the traditional kind of service providers, telecom service providers out there. We have Google, Peter Thatcher talking to talk about all the ways that WebRTC is being used there. And we also will be talking about how WebRTC can be used in mobile applications and really what's coming next for WebRTC. If any of you are on Twitter, I know Evan Kirstel, you are already, that's what he's doing, but we're using the hashtag WebRTC Boston. And I'd really like to thank Stephen from the Google Developers Group here. He's been a great help in pulling all this together. Definitely made my job very easy. And Stephen, I'll let you say a word.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, folks. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. This has been a collaborative effort. We've worked with the WebRTC group and with the HTML5 group, as well as our Google Developers group here in Boston. I wanted to also note that a year ago, last November, a little over a year ago, we had a code lab. Benjamin Schwartz came out from Google in Mountain View. We had an evening talk like this that was pre-released code, and then that weekend we had a code lab that went pretty well. Probably about 30, 40 people attended. What was remarkable is it was pre-released code, but it pretty much worked at that point in time. And what's really surprising about WebRTC that's happened is there are a lot of products that have been announced in that time since that early pre-release software, and how quickly this open source project has come up to scale. And I think we'll be seeing quite a bit more of that. The Google Developers Group, our focus is on developers, on putting together professionally relevant content for developers, both informing them and helping them build skills and that they can use every day. As a follow-up to this event, we've probably in January, we'll probably hold another code lab with Boku Loft. How many people know Boku Loft here? Yeah, good crew of people to do this kind of project with. So that's going to be a follow-up. Stay on the Google Developer Group Meetup page, and you'll hear more about that then. So that's all I've got to say. Welcome, thanks for coming out, and looking forward to a great night.
Thanks, Stephen. And before we get started, another big thanks to Google and YouTube for sponsoring and hosting this event. It's really a great facility. Hopefully the food was good. I didn't get a chance to eat it yet, but I will during the break. And with that, Niels, would you like to, or Chris?
Hi. Thanks for everybody for coming out. This is a great turnout, especially given the weather recently and everything else. I'm really amazed by it. I manage Chrome's networking team, and certainly we have a lot of interest in WebRTC. We're really gratified to see the amount of interest in the general community for WebRTC, and I think there's going to be a huge amount of sort of innovative applications and great sort of story for interop. And so I'll be quiet so that we can get to the meat of the presentations. But thank you again for coming, and do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say welcome also on behalf of YouTube. My name is Niels Kranschow. I lead the YouTube live streaming team here in Cambridge. We don't do WebRTC directly on a daily basis, but we interface closely with Hangouts and Hangouts on Air, and we're actually very interested in pursuing additional sort of capabilities on our platform related to WebRTC. So on that front, I'd like to make a pitch. If any of you are interested in learning more, we are hiring here in Cambridge, WebRTC developers and anybody interested in live streaming. There's some flyers, so go apply. And thanks for coming. It's a really huge crowd.